Mr. Anurag Vinkamada Shailesh, how do you read me?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, Anurag here, sir.
Okay. How many are still left about to join?
Sir, right now we only have 17 people, sir.
17.
Yes, sir. So I think we'll wait for another 5-10 minutes, sir, before
Okay.
beginning. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome all the participants. We'll just wait for 5 minutes more before beginning so that more people can join us. Sally sir, Wing Commander Sally sir, we have around 38 people right now with us, sir.
I think we are good to go.
Yes, sir.
Three,
Yes.
7. Stick to time and we can start.
Sure, sure,
Uh,
sir. Sure, sir.
you can
Sir.
just briefly introduce.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So today we have Wing Commander Salis sir from Directorate of Aerospace Design, and we have Wing Commander Bhomik sir, who is from the User Directorate of this problem challenge. So I welcome both of you, sir. Sir, I welcome all the PIs, all the participants who have joined this technical outreach session. So the agenda would be Bhomik sir will be taking us through the problem statement. He will give us more insights on the problem statements, his requirements, and then the session will be followed with a question answer round, so wherein all the innovators can ask their questions and clarify their doubts and queries, and I would request all the innovators to kindly raise their hands. We'll call them one by one for resolution of this of their queries. And this session is for technical outreach. Just the queries related to the problem statement, particular problem statement, will be resolved here. uh, Problems and queries related to IDEX processes and IDEX applications and other things are taken up in general outreach sessions. So I request all the innovators to kindly follow the Twitter handle of IDEX, wherein we share the schedule of general outreach sessions as well. So if anybody has any queries on general IDEX applications and processes, so they can attend the general outreach sessions of the IDEX. So I welcome Bhomik sir. Sir, you can take the participants through the problem statement. You can give little bit more insight on the problem statement, sir, before we can officially begin the question and answer session, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay.
Just a minute, Wing Commander Shailesh here.
Yes, sir.
Maybe the Bhomik sir will take us to the detailed insight of the problem statement. At the same time, one by one, he will about to give the answers, whatever the queries comes. But certain queries which has not been resolved today, or maybe the number of queries are more. That what we will do, we will keep it on to writing also. So Anurag, you can brief them about the online queries also, so that in future also, in coming days, we can resolve those queries.
Yes, sir. So thank you for adding it, sir. So for information of all the participants, we'll also be making a query form online live on the IDEX website. So if any query remains unresolved right now or in the future, so you can fill your queries using that query form, and the same will be forwarded to Air Force for resolution, and we'll revert to your queries. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Over to you, Bhomik, sir.
Yeah. Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Loud and clear, sir.
So good afternoon all. The problem statement which was actually forwarded from us is to develop a universal anti-G suit test rig, which should also be portable for effective testing of all type of anti-G suits which are in use across the fleet of fighter aircraft of Indian Air Force at the field level. So this is the problem. Before I go about this particular test rig, I'd like to brief about what is this anti-G suit is and what is the requirement for fighter flight. So basically, this anti-G suit is a specific and special government owned by all the fighter pilots to deal with the acceleration stress which they are subjected in fighter flying. So mainly what we are concerned about is the head to footward acceleration. This acceleration stress can be imparted to human body in three different axes, like from the chest to back, from the sidewise, as well as from head to toe or toe to head. So this particular problem is the physiological problem is more when the acceleration is from head to toe direction. And if we take about what is our natural that particular stress, this particular direction, that stress is also referred as Gz plus Gz. So in plus Gz, the human tolerance, natural tolerance is close to 4. But the fighter aircraft, they are capable to go up to much higher, that is 9G also, which is there as on date in Indian Air Force inventory. Now, how do that aircrew they withstand this 9G stresses is by different modality. One of the modality is using that specific garment, which is referred as anti-G suit. This anti-G suit which are used in India is of a 5 bladder cutaway trouser pattern anti-G suit. It is on over the aircrew overall just to protect their lower limb. How it protects that I'll come later. So a correctly sized and fully functional anti-G suit can protect them additionally for 1 to 1.5 G. Additionally 1 to 1.5 G. So there are other modalities which further increase the G level, but that is beyond the scope of this innovation. So we'll now restrict to now why these anti-G suit they are required to be tested, because the failure of this anti-G suit, then the aircrew will not be able to get that benefit of additional 1 to 1.5 G. And the bladder which are there in this inbuilt in this anti-G suit or anti-G trouser are actually inflated with either engine blade air in the aircraft or the oxygen which is available. That may be liquid oxygen or maybe gaseous oxygen based on that particular aircraft. And this inflation of those bladder basically compresses the lower limb, and by compressing the lower limb portion in specific spaces, mainly on the cuff muscle and the thigh. Hello? Yeah. So there are 5 bladders in this anti-G suit. One is at the abdominal level, and there are 4 in each lower limb. There are 2, one at the cuff level, one at the thigh level. So because of those compression by the inflation of those inbuilt bladders, basically it prevents the blood which is getting pumped from the heart towards the lower limb, or under high acceleration some blood are pulled towards the lower limb. So if we can prevent this pulling of blood to the lower limb, more blood are available in the heart rate, so the aircrew can withstand more stresses. Now, as far as the functionality of the anti-G suit is there, I hope everyone has understood what is the use of this anti-G suit. And this thing required to be tested for their inflation and coping up with that G level. Like aircrew is flying at 1 G level, there is no additional acceleration on the plus GZ axis, and suddenly they start pulling the stick or they accelerate and keep climbing, they will be subjected to higher forces. Now this rate of G increment depends on based on the different type of missions. Now this anti-G suit should also be capable, like to make the anti-G suit capable, there is another component in the aircraft is called anti-G valve. That anti-G valve actually ensures that how fast or what should be the airflow inside the anti-G suit so that it can cope up with the rate of onset of the G, like the rate of onset of the acceleration forces the aircraft is flying. So here, at times there are lack of that inflation because anti-G suit, when it is completely deflated, the bladder which are there inside, the inner wall are adhered. Actually, adhered means they are opposed together. So to get rid of that this lag, there are certain mechanisms that the bladder can be inflated with a very little pressure at the beginning, so that when the G onset rate is very high, the peak flow of the air can quickly gush inside the anti-G suit and it can cope with the rate of onset. So all these things are actually subjected to be testing before that anti-G suit comes into operational use. As on date, this inflation and other things are generally not regularly tested on ground, although this anti-G suit are subjected to regular inspection by a qualified aerospace medicine specialist to see the wear and tear or any degradation of the material or any growth of the fungus. And as this are made up of non-stretch material, there may be certain wear and tear on those material. The bladders are made up of PU material, that is the TPU coated PU material. So those are also subject. So those things inside cannot be checked, but their functionality as on date are checked in the aircraft, because all the aircraft in different fleet, they have a press to test button in the aircraft. Aircrew generally, they walk into the aircraft, they sit there and it is there in the SOP. Before they start flying, they will check for the functionality, like the bladder are getting inflated or not. There are equal pressure distribution in both the limbs or not, or in case there is some loss of pressure or not. Now, in case the aircrew finds that this is actually not functioning properly, there's a loss of pressure, there may be some leakage, they cannot continue with the same mission. They have to come back to the squadron and change the anti-G suit. So if you can do something that the same test is carried out on ground before the aircrew walk onto the aircraft, they can just plug in their anti-G suit in a ground-based equipment and check for all this functionality, like it is inflating properly, the balance of the pressure on both the side, and the lag of filling. Like if you can design something that we can set some figure that from 1G the aircraft is trying to go to 6G at 1 second, and then at the end of that 6G, when the level is at 6G, which the equipment should be able to identify that how much time was there to cope up with that 6G level. So a lag of maximum 2 seconds is actually accepted in the operational scenario. At the same time, deflation, when the aircrew offloads from a specific high G level to lower level, it should also get deflated within next 5 seconds. That is the capping actually, up to 5 seconds is acceptable. So if we can get this kind of portable system, which can be placed in all the operational fighter squadron, as well as like as an Institute of Aerospace Medicine, this is the only institute which trains the aerospace medicine specialist, and every year institute is actually producing 10 aerospace medicine specialists. They are also can be trained on this testing method and the intricacies of testing of all component of the anti-G suit. So this was about the problem statement and what exactly you're looking for.
Thank you, Bhavik sir. Definitely, you have given a very good insight regarding the problem statement. Now, I will request all participants, whosoever having any queries, can raise their hand, and one by one, Anurag will. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Celeste. Thank you, Vomik, sir. So I kindly request all the participants to raise their hands so that I'll call them one by one for a resolution of their queries.
Anurag, is there any questions?
Sir, right now, no one has raised any hand, sir. I'm just waiting for. So again, I request all the participants, if anybody has any queries, he or she can raise the hand and I'll call them.
From the industries or from the participants, is there someone from aviation medical background or something? Somebody into that kind of innovation, medical equipments and something? Anurag, you can just scan once more, and can people can ask from the directly to the question if somebody is having any kind of doubt, any kind of clarification is required, any kind of more insight is required into the system or into the problem statement, can come up now.
I request all the participants to make use of this opportunity, because we can resolve your queries, through the query form and other media, other means as well. But since the nodal officer is available with us here, so you can get it, in real time, you can get your answers. So we have, sir, Mr. Abhishek Uksal. Sir, please go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to know that when you said there are two mediums to power those bladders, the one is the oxygen system on board that aircraft, and the second one is that you are bleeding the air from, I think, the low pressure turbine, right? Low pressure compressor, right? So for the second one, well, for the test rig, I think is it okay if we go with like room temperature air, because I think if anyone is bleeding
Yes, yes. I'm
air
Vincom
from the
Bhaumik again.
low pressure compressor, so it will be having some kind of temperature with it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it will be more than 100 degrees Celsius or something. So for the testing, is it okay for if we go with the room temperature?
Yes, Vincom Bhaumik again. Basically, I was just giving example that how they are inflated in flight, because this test rig we are
Okay.
looking for a ground-based test rig. There is actually no requirement of having an oxygen system for that. It best will be the atmospheric air compressed to the anti-G suit. Only thing, the particles or the dirt should not go inside. So there has to be some filtration system before the air is pumped inside the anti-G suit for testing. Otherwise, it is absolutely okay to use the normal atmospheric air with the normal composition.
Okay. And one more thing that I actually haven't seen more detail of this problem statement. I just went into this, I just came to this webinar. So the next question is, you have stated some timestamp, like that um, um, it should get inflated within 2 seconds. So that all the time frame are mentioned in those documents, or that you have only mentioned here?
No, it is a requirement. Those intricacies are still not shared because it was beyond the scope of the initial problem statement and the brief given. So once the request comes that what exactly is required, what should be the pressure, like the anti-G suit also, there is not a single type of anti. There are various type of anti-G suit used depending on the different type of fighter fleet. Now, it should inflate, and like the maximum pressure withstood by that particular anti-G suit is already defined by the manufacturer
Okay,
of that anti-G suit. Some anti-G suit will hold a maximum pressure of 15 psi. Some anti-G suit will only hold 13
understood. Yeah.
psi. So those will be, so it should be a universal thing. Like in case we are testing an anti-G suit which only holds 10 psi, that test rig we should be able to adjust that maximum pressure to 10 psi, just like that.
Okay, understood. And are all those connectors are same, or every G suits
No,
has
no.
their own
Again, it's
different connectors?
different, which actually is not included in this problem statement. So different anti-G suit has different hose length inbuilt with that suit, as well as the
Okay.
adapter to connect in the aircraft system is different. So for that, to make it universal, there has to be a universal adapter provided so that any anti-G suit can be plugged in.
Okay. So one more thing, like, could you please provide the maximum value or the minimum value, whichever whatever the range you have, so that uh, we can precisely
Yeah,
look onto this.
that we can provide the
Yeah.
precise value on a later date. As of now, it's not very handy with me.
No,
So
no worries. Yeah.
otherwise the on an average, like with a 1g increment in the acceleration forces, the anti-G should get inflated by 1.25 to 5 psi. So it goes like that as per the military specifications which are referred for by the manufacturing companies. It is every G the anti-G should get inflated by next 1.2 to 1.5 psi more.
Okay. Understood. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. I can see Amol, sir. Sir, please go ahead, sir.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
So what I want to know is for this entire test rig, which is portable, do you have any power requirements? Something like, let's say, a continuous 230 volts or maybe some kind of amperage, which should be pure. Are you looking for, let's say, power backup kind of arrangement for this?
Yeah,
For the entire setup?
basically the things which will make it portable is it should have a inbuilt compressor in it. It should not get like there is additional connection to connect that particular system to or some inbuilt cylinder. So it has to be a single component. One side will allow connecting the anti-G suit and other side the compression will actually working. Now, to operate that, definitely power requirement will be there, and it should not
Yes,
be
absolutely.
like
No, we don't have any specific power requirement, as you're saying, continuous supply,
Okay.
no fluctuation, some range or something. It's the power required to run the equipment.
Understood. So
and it's
whatever is
desirable
normally available,
the standby power, like the
Yeah,
UPS
yes.
kind of thing. It is desirable that in case it's have
So that portability is ensured if we want to move it somewhere here and there. So UPS sort of a thing
Yeah.
should also be there.
Yes. That's it. So as I understand, so whatever is available as per Indian standard, typically
Yeah,
the
plug
power
and
socket,
play.
230
It's
volts,
plug
and
and
maybe.
play kind of a plug and play kind of arrangement. Okay.
Right. All right. So as I understand, I mean, the criticality of, let's say, having a standby power or maybe in between that element of supplying UPS is not very high for this test rig. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, it's not mandatory that you have a UPS with that. If it's plug and play, and if you want to make it more portable, then you can provide the UPS. That's like up to you. But the requirement.
From DAD, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
This particular thing is required basically that was a test is going on and in between some power supply gets interrupted so that testing doesn't get stopped in between. So testing can continue.
Test doesn't
This is
take
what is,
test should not take more than a half a minute or a minute actually.
yeah.
It's,
So
it's,
that's a primary reason that we are looking for, and it's usually some supplies should be there so that it doesn't get interrupted.
preferable is that it should not get
Yeah.
interrupted. Plus, it gives us flexibility of being portable. अगर कहीं और लेके भी जाना है, तो we can carry it without a power plug-in and plug-in power supply.
Yeah. So basically, as I understand, sir, the having element of, let's say, UPS kind of arrangement, which will be like battery backed up, because since you are going to carry, and if let us say the power plug is little bit far off, is not having a proper arrangement. So maybe if you have a battery,
The primary source could be plug and play. That's all.
okay, all right. Understood, sir. Right. Right. So just my last question is just in case if we want some more clarification or information, is there any way we can approach you via email?
Yeah, I think through DAD or through DID, I think you can approach us. No issues at all.
Whatever query you are having right now,
Yeah.
even after this meeting, once you're having some query, please feel free to give those query back to us. DIO is coordinating that. In fact, they are putting one special page on their website. You can put their
Okay.
queries on the website. It will immediately it will answer back within a day or
Okay,
two.
understood, sir.
And sir, in the
Understood.
meanwhile, I'll write down my name, sir. You can find my email ID also. I'll write down my email ID as well, sir. You can write to me, sir. Till that time, the query form is live on the website. So I'll write in the
Understood.
side box. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
There is a question on the chat box. Saurabh has given out a question that is current G-suit with forces, is it comfortable for the pilot while flying at supersonic and max C limits? I didn't understand the question. Is Saurabh there?
Mr. Saurabh, if you are present here, you can elaborate more on the question.
Yes. Hi, this is Saurabh here. I wanted to ask, like at like supersonic speeds, what is the discomfort usually pilots face in the current G suit? What they have already?
Oh, that's not part of this project. I mean, that's an unrelated question, I think. Why are you asking this question?
Just to understand the whole technology which can be
The
incorporated in
Anit-G suit is a suit that all the pilots wear to endure the high G forces in the aircraft.
Of
So the
course.
speed doesn't matter. It's the speed of turn which matters. And discomfort is not there. I mean, these are all part of the airco equipment assembly. I mean, there's no question of discomfort there. It is part of the flying equipment that the pilot has to wear.
Okay.
And the suit gets inflated. I mean, that's like there's no discomfort as such.
Right.
Sir, this is Wing Commander Raghu from Medical Directorate.
Welcome, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I have a point. We were discussing the requirement of the power supply. My take is that if we are planning a compressor to for the pneumatic system, the compressor would definitely run on a power supply.
Yes. Yes,
Raghu, Group Captain Daya hai. I don't
Sir.
think so. The direct compressed air which should be pumped into the suit. Obviously, there has to be some reservoir, a cylinder kind of a thing. The compressor would be required to compress air, and then that air gets pumped in with the pneumatic valves and at the desired flow rate and at the desired pressures, final pressures, and the time for inflation. So flow rate should be based on that. So yes, power supply, yes, uninterrupted is a desirable thing, but may not be mandatory in the first go. It's
Right.
plug-in
So
power should be good enough.
the system now we are looking at is a cylinder which will provide the
No, it's not a cylinder.
No, it's not.
Always with all the compressors, you have to have a reservoir. No? Where do you compress and keep that compressed air?
Understood, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
We provide us the.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have a couple of questions in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, these are all addressed to you, not to us. How is
Sir, Mr. Ra
integrity of bladder used in the, how is the structural integrity means? Arvind, Dr. Arvind Kumar.
Yeah. So you have you tested all these bladders with different
Yeah,
pressures?
they're all airborne stores. They have airworthiness certification before they are put.
Yeah, and different anti-G suit has different shelf life also. Like it ranges from 3 to 5 years, and sometime it is extendable to another 2 years. So those tests are actually just to confirm that is there any loss in the structural integrity in case it is not holding the pressure which is specified, or it's losing the pressure for leak. So the anti-G should testing rig should also, like if we keep the PTD switch there in that rig, if we inflate it at 13 psi, that is the pressure is getting hold there for those much duration, or there is a loss. Those things also should be identified by the test rig, that it's not allowing to the air to get
basically for the
Okay,
basically
one
for
more
the
question.
integrity.
Yeah, I have one more question. All these bladders are made from India, or you're procuring from somewhere else?
Some are imported, most of them.
It is mostly it is TPU coated bladder basically, and non-stretch material. Either it's Capron or it's Nomex Scabular. So all this kind of FR material along with the TPU coating is used. And as on date, we have aircraft from different country. There are certain anti-G suit which comes with the aircraft, and there are indigenous developed in India.
Okay. Okay.
See, the
because
most
yeah.
important aspect is whatever components are you are going to use on the system, at least 50% of those should be made in India. The iridium content of 50% has to be there. It is a sacrosanct figure in that. So those things, Mr. Anurag will be explaining subsequently.
Okay, thanks for answering the question.
I think Rahul is asking, is any other country has universal G suit right now?
So these inputs will not able to give you. This is what we are looking for our own purpose here. So these inputs will not able to give you whether somebody is there or not. This is what we want to develop. Maybe we are the first one in the world. It's good for the nation that we are the first one to make in all over the world, and you become the world leader in this particular technology.
And so this problem statement is not to develop an anti-G suit, but a testing device which will effectively test all this type of anti-G suit.
On ground.
On ground.
In aircraft test.
Yeah, aircraft test is this.
Okay, so you are looking for online monitoring of these suits while you are maneuvering at a higher
altitude.
Not at all. Not online. The test rig that we are looking at is a ground-based test device which will test the integrity of the G suit before the pilot goes into the aircraft. So it is all before the pilot boards the aircraft. Nothing in the aircraft or nothing, no remote sensing is required. It is not an onboard airborne store. It is ground equipment. Okay, it's a pre-flight check that the pilot has to do. And he'll repeat that in the aircraft. The system is there. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Abhishek Kuksal, sir, do you have any further questions, sir?
Yes. May I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So, as you have stated that it should also detect there should be no any asymmetricity in the inflation. I just wanted to know that whether in aircraft while you're flying, so is there any condition when the left legs or the left bladder of your limb inflates and the while I mean is there any asymmetry basically is there any asymmetry while you're flying? So why I'm asking this because there might be some electrical connections that is built up on that connector. So there might be some any electronic fuses into your G suit. So so in order to emulate that onto ground, I need these information,
No,
or it always inflate balanced only.
yeah, it's Venkata Bhaumik again. No, it's as on date the five bladder anti-juice suit I mentioned is not having any electrical component in it other than a hose which is connected to the aircraft, and the pressure distribution from the hose, it is equally distributed to both the side. It goes to the abdominal bladder, and from abdominal bladder it goes to the other two. It is interconnected bladder basically. So there is no
Connected
scope
bladders.
of uneven distribution of pressure in any of the flight conditions.
You will not put any sensors on the anti-G suit. The G suit is ours and it is there.
Yes.
You don't
So what we are
for anything that you want to take a feedback by putting sensors inside the anti-G suit. You can't make any changes to the anti-G suit. That is ours. So the anti-G suit
Yeah,
is standard.
yeah, that I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Mr. Rudra has posted some query on the chat box. Is it a centrifugal machine which can revolve in all axial directions?
No, but this is unrelated to this particular problem statement.
Yes, sir.
Something else.
And
I think in the open access, all the participants can actually read up what is an anti-G suit, because the questions are so unrelated to our problem statement that ultimately it should not confuse you all. So please read up what is an anti-G suit, because I feel there's a lot of knowledge gap when it comes to the how an anti-G suit is functioning in the aircraft and what we are looking for on the ground. So we're not looking at anything in the aircraft. Okay.
In fact, for that matter, this problem statement is very clear. There is no ambiguity in that.
Yeah, the kind of questions that are being asked are totally unrelated. No, if somebody is confusing this with a
This is very clear.
centrifuge, I mean, that means he's not read up what is an anti-G suit,
Yeah,
and
that's
whatever he understands as we speak here, उसके बाद वो proposal उस तरह से ना बना दे फिर.
yeah. My worry is that only.
Yes, correct. So that we are clarifying that please consult the open internet way, and it is available the information about what is the role of anti-G suit and how anti-G suit helps, and what is the anti-G suit tester. There is a mill standard way of the anti-G suit where the testing is given there. I think I can't be more clearer than that.
I'll request once again with all startups, whatever queries you are having, please come forward. Please resolve all your queries. Otherwise, we'll have a very tough time doing HPSC. If the proposals is not there in the line what the product we are looking for, we will get totally lost on that. So please, whatever queries are there, please come forward with the queries.
So if any innovator
Mr.
has any more queries, they can directly ask, sir.
Mr. Narang, your queries about this. Wing Commander Bhaumik, this last question you can clarify. They're asking whether this tester will be used with pilot or without pilot. This question you can clarify, please.
Yes, sir. So what I have briefed at the beginning, like the aircrew, they wear the anti-G suit in the squadron and they walk onto the aircraft, and then the press to test is done inside the aircraft. So before they walk in, so it is in most of the condition, it will be the aircrew first wearing the anti-G suit and they will plug into this test rig. Otherwise, uh, it is beyond the scope of the details which we have provided. If something can be devised that without wearing also can be tested, it's fine. So generally they are going to be wearing and then they will be testing in all likelihood in most of the conditions. Because other thing can be visually inspected.
So there's a flexibility in this thing. It can be used in both the way.
Yes, if it can be tested without wearing, then it will be fine. But again, the like the pressure distribution and all, we will not be getting any feedback if some individual is not wearing. The inspection is purely done when the aircrew is not wearing. It is done individual standalone before the aircrew wears the anti-G suit. But this pressure test for the peak flow, fill time, and all these things are tested in the aircraft. So as of now, if we can get both the thing that without wearing also you can test it, then it's good. That will be better.
Mr. Rahul Kaushik, again you are asking question for weight of anti-G suit. Here we are talking about the test rig for testing the anti-G suit. The question is for the weight of anti-G suit. I hope I've understood your question correctly. Mr. Rahul Kaushik.
Sir, we
Mr.
do not
Rahul,
have. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Thakur, sir, please go ahead, sir.
no, my question is for Mr. Rahul Kaushik.
Yeah,
He's asking weight of anti-G suit. This is what I wanted to clarify him once again. This is not for the anti-G suit. We are looking for anti-G suit test rig.
I hope you have got the clarity. Mr. Rahul?
Mr. Blog, any other queries from any sort of?
No, sir. No hands raised and no further queries in the chat box, sir.
Okay, so let's wait for another 1 minute. If there is no hands raised, then we can call it off.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So I request the participants. Maybe we can take one or two further more questions. So I request them to kindly raise their hands or write in the chat box.
Mr. Rudra, your question is very clearly answered in the problem statement itself. You're talking about main requirement for testing to be done. It's very much clearly brought out in the problem statement. Please have a look on that once again.
RK Narang sir, do you have any further questions, sir?
No, I just want to know because this percentage is, it's a new policy which has come up. So past that cost may not work out. So are you working out some template for testing this percentage, calculation of percentage, or the manufacturer will give you percentage?
Narang Saab, it is very clearly brought out in the DAP 2020. The percentage of iridium content is very much clear because all these things will be
calculated. The software, hardware component, software.
Exactly. So whatever the policy in the DAP, that is applicable for all of us.
Yeah, but it does not specify what will be the percentage of each section.
If anyone has any other questions, maybe we can take one more question before wrapping up the session.
Yeah, this
Sir,
one
maybe we
question.
can. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There
Please,
is
sir.
a question by Abhishek Kuskal. He's asking, what is the total test time are you expecting? So like Group Captain Daya also told, it should not be taking more than a minute. The aircrew will just plug in. At most, it's 1 or 2 minutes. So basically, it is a pre-flight check before the aircrew walks in towards the aircraft. So 1 to 2 minutes should be good enough to check all this thing that is getting inflated or not. It is coping up with the G level or not. And there is no leakage at all. So it will be finally, there should be some report generated on this system that all okay. Number 1 okay, number 2 okay, 3 okay. And then if okay is given by the machine, then the aircrew can surely walk into the aircraft. If it is not okay, then the aircrew will change over the Anit-G suit and take another one.
So one last question.
Yeah, please.
Hello. So does the rig need to be modular in design so as you know, the ORP, operational readiness platform,
Yeah,
pilots can also have the ability to get their G suits tested?
yeah. No, I didn't get the last part of your question. The ORP I could understand. So any fighter aircraft will be flown by wearing anti-G suit only. So
I meant the rig that is there, which is testing G suit, that has to be modular so as the timings can be matched with the ORP levels.
So this ORP, this anti-G suit will not be stored in the anti-G suit before the aircrew wear, like they are sure that the anti-G suit I am wearing is fully functional. So that will be tested in the squadron itself. They have already taken.
Mr. Manak, this particular question is not related at all with this particular project. Just we are looking for testing. Don't mix up too many things in that.
So this was just a question.
Request Wing Commander Bhaumik once again, just if you can once again emphasize the requirement of purity of the air. If at all they are using compressed air, filtering mechanism and the purity the mechanism to avoid the contamination in the air. Those things once again please cover to the startup. That will be better.
Yes, sir. So at the beginning, I just gave example how it is inflated in the aircraft, but on ground, there is no issue if we use the pure atmospheric air with the same composition. There is no problem at all. Only thing is there should not be any unwanted material going inside the bladder because the air is pumped in the bladder while testing. If some retention of this dirt and particles are there, that might degrade the quality of the TPU coated bladder. So that's why there is a requirement of a good filter, and good filter means as on date, one of the best filter is the HEPA filter, which should be effectively exclude all the molecules which are 0.3 micron or bigger. So that is good enough. And this will be like tested in a clean squadron room or in a logistic storage. So we do not expect too much of dust there in the environment. So normal atmospheric air is good enough, and any dirt, particles or virus bacteria should not go inside. So that's why the air need to be filtered before it is pumped in the anti-G suits.
Thank you, Bhaumik sir, for providing such a detailed insight on the problem statement, sir. Sir, we do not have further questions either in the chat box or nobody has raised the hand, sir.
Okay.
So I think we can conclude the session, sir. So I would like to thank Wing Commander Bhaumik sir, Group Captain Daya sir, Group Captain Thakur sir, Wing Commander Sailesh sir, and all the other participants and our partner incubators for joining us for this technical outreach session. As I mentioned again, the query form will be live soon. In the meanwhile, you can write to me if you have any queries in the intervening period. So we'll get it resolved to the user directorate. I once again thank you all of you for joining us for this outreach session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Narsam, and thanks to all of them. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.